Have you ever heard of the year 1816? It's famously known as the year without a summer. Imagine a year where frost and snow was still happening in June, July, and even August in parts of North America and Europe. It sounds like something out of a disaster movie, but this was a real historical event that changed the world in ways you might not expect. So, what caused this bizarre and devastating climate anomaly? The culprit was a volcano, but not just any volcano. It was Mount Tambora, located in what is now Indonesia. In April of 1815, Tambora erupted in what is still the most powerful volcanic eruption in recorded human history. It was so massive that it registered a 7 on the volcanic explosivity index, that is, a supercolossal event. The explosion was heard over 1,600 miles away. To put that into perspective, it would be like hearing an explosion in New York all the way from Dallas, Texas. The immediate devastation was catastrophic. The eruption and the tsunamis it triggered wiped out tens of thousands of people in the region. But the impact didn't stop there. Mount Tambora blasted an enormous amount of ash, dust, and sulfur dioxide into the stratosphere. This wasn't just a cloud. It was a massive aerosol veil that spread across the globe. This stratospheric veil acted like a giant mirror, reflecting sunlight back into space and preventing it from warming the Earth's surface. The result was a dramatic drop in global temperatures. Scientists estimate that average global temperatures fell by as much as 3 degrees Celsius, or about 5.4 degrees Fahrenheit. That might not sound like a huge number, but for the global climate system, it's a massive shock with widespread consequences. And so, the stage was set for 1816, the year without a summer. The spring was unusually cold, but people hoped for better weather. It never came. In May, a hard frost killed off most of the newly planted crops across New England and eastern Canada. In June, a major snowstorm hit the same regions, with some places reporting nearly a foot of snow. Think about that, a foot of snow in June. Rivers and lakes in Pennsylvania were still frozen over in late July. Farmers had to replant their crops 2 or 3 times, only to see them fail again and again due to the relentless cold. The growing season was practically non-existent. This led to a catastrophic crop failure across the northern hemisphere. The price of grain skyrocketed. In some parts of Europe, food prices increased tenfold. People were starving. It led to food riots in Britain, France, and Switzerland. Desperate families were forced to eat whatever they could, find cats, rats, and even boiled nettles. The situation was so dire in Switzerland that the government declared a national emergency. This agricultural crisis triggered a massive wave of migration. Many families in New England, faced with starvation and financial ruin, packed up their belongings and headed west, seeking better land and a more stable climate. This event significantly accelerated the westward expansion of the United States. States like Indiana and Illinois saw a huge influx of new settlers, forever changing the demographic map of the country. The effects weren't just agricultural and economic, they were cultural too. The gloomy, desperate atmosphere of 1816 had a profound impact on art and literature. You've probably heard of the novel Frankenstein. Well, it was born during this very summer. Mary Shelley, her future husband Percy Bysshe Shelley, and Lord Byron were vacationing near Lake Geneva in Switzerland. But because of the incessant rain and dreary weather, they were stuck indoors. To pass the time, they decided to have a competition to see who could write the best ghost story. It was during this gloomy, storm-filled vacation that Mary Shelley conceived the idea for her iconic monster and the story of Victor Frankenstein. The dark, desolate, and unnatural weather became a backdrop for one of the greatest works of Gothic horror ever written. Similarly, the eerie, spectacular sunsets caused by the volcanic ash in the atmosphere inspired the painter J.M.W. Turner. His dramatic and colorful skies, filled with vibrant reds and yellows, are believed to be a direct artistic representation of the atmospheric effects of the Tambora eruption. The disaster literally painted the sky. But the year without a summer also had some strange, unforeseen technological consequences. The lack of oats to feed horses, the primary mode of transportation at the time, caused a major transportation crisis. Horses became extremely expensive to maintain. This scarcity is thought to have inspired a German inventor named Carl von Drey to create a new form of personal transport that did unrequire a horse. His invention was the loft machine or running machine. It was a 2-wheeled wooden contraption that you propelled forward by pushing your feet against the ground. It was the direct ancestor of the modern bicycle. So, in a way, a volcanic eruption on the other side of the world led to the invention of the bicycle. The year without a summer was a stark reminder of how interconnected our world is and how vulnerable we are to natural events. A single volcanic eruption reshaped societies, sparked mass migrations, inspired iconic works of art and literature, and even spurred technological innovation. It also had a major impact on science. The bizarre weather of 1816 pushed scientists to start seriously studying weather patterns and climate. It was one of the key events that led to the birth of modern meteorology and climatology. Scientists began to understand that events in one part of the world could have far-reaching consequences globally. Today, we have satellites and advanced monitoring systems to track volcanoes and atmospheric changes. But the story of Mount Tambora and the year without a summer serves as a powerful historical lesson. It shows us how a sudden climate shift can push societies to their limits, revealing both their fragility and their incredible resilience. It's a story of disaster, but also a story of adaptation and change. From the desperate farmers moving west, to Mary Shelley creating a literary masterpiece, to an inventor dreaming up a new way to get around, people found ways to respond to an unprecedented crisis. It's a fascinating chapter in our planet's history that continues to teach us about the complex relationship between humanity and the environment. Thanks for watching. If you found this story as fascinating as I do, please hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the incredible events that have shaped our world. See you next time.